We are going to talk about school contribution. We are going to talk about school contribution, and we are going to be holistic. We are going to say that how everybody is to blame for school contribution, especially the government. And we are going to see how in school contributions, funds have been stolen left, right, and center. That is today's topic, school contribution. If you go to the government system, they say that all public schools, there should be no contribution. Parents should not be called for any contribution. But then they put a rider there saying, unless they call something like an AGM, they call an AGM, and then it is decided in the AGM. Frankly speaking, there is no need of any public school contributing anything. The problem we have, especially with the Ruto government, is a PR, is a PR government. We have a situation where the president thinks that when he says, sijui nini public relationship, it will solve problem. We know of sickness, various sickness, whereby when you are sick, you are given painkillers. When you are given painkillers are to take care of you as they find out where the problem is and as they solve that problem. You may be suffering from a sickness that the drugs may take 2 to 3 days to start effective work. Meanwhile, you can take painkillers. But then, Ruto as an individual, he's very good at painkillers. As we speak now, we had a problem about HELB and COOPS. And he said there is whatever and the problem will be solved in 2 weeks. It is now, they said that the problem would be solved in 2 weeks. It is now 3 months. No, not 3 months, 3 weeks. It was to be solved in 2 weeks. It is now 3 weeks. We are going to a full month, it has not been solved. Students, when filling in COOPS, we have very many students with B+, who did not apply for university, who did not apply for, they did not apply for diploma colleges. They applied for TVET. Why TVET? They are saying that they'll join TVET, and then when they become plumbers, when they become mechanics and so on, they can now fund for their own universities. And let us assume that the Ruto government comes up with a very good university funding model. It will be too late for the students who would have already filled in the university placement thing. It will be too late. And it will also not be too late because one thing I'm annoyed with the Ruto government is this. If this can reach the Ruto, it would be better. You see, the public pronunciations you are making, the assurances you are making has a lot of effect, especially on people from poor families. Why am I saying so? You are reassuring people, and the people take their students to the universities. What happens? Then they come up with a very expensive model. But if you tell the people, if you go to that public meetings and tell the truth, you see, the final person is the student's welfare. And these are the people who, in the next election, 2027, will be voters. Most of them were not voters in 2022. Here you reassure them, it is a family-based model, it will do whatever. And then when it goes there, it becomes different from what you talk publicly. It is better for you to talk publicly what is happening in the universities. What is happening in the universities? Because let me take an example of a student from a very poor family. Tell a student from a very poor family that you'll be paying $500,000 per year you'll be paying $500,000 per year for the 6 years you'll be there. That is 3 million. The student will go and call his or her village mates or even clan, and they will sit down and raise the $500,000 shillings. But Mr. President, sir, you say that students from poor families will not pay anything. So when this student calls people to make an arambe to raise the $500,000, people don't contribute. They think that the student will be given money and it will be his or her boom. What is the end result? Students from poor families will not study at all. Or if they'll study, they will not study for expensive courses such as engineering, such as medicine. Is that what you want? But today we are talking about contribution of money in schools, secondary schools and primary schools, schools which are public schools. There is the question of capitation. There is a question of capitation. Capitation goes like this. First term, the government gives out 50%. Second term, they give 30%. And the third term, they give 20%. You'll find that in the first term, at the end of the first term, because the government is supposed to give out 50% on the opening day. But you'll find that most schools, when they are closing the first term, they have received 40%. Second term comes, they are given 30%, which adds up to 70. Then it is supposed to be, at the end of third term, they are given 30%. Now, if you give the schools 30% third term has the least activities. Third term is the term that there is a lot of reading, there is a lot of examination, there is a lot of activities, extracurricular activities and whatever, are done in the first two terms. You don't do something about that. Then from there, you find that schools from poor neighborhood. I was the chairman of food program at Riruta Satellite Primary School, I know. You find that schools from poor neighborhood, they perform well rather than the schools from rich neighborhood. What happens is this. First of all, okay, there is a time when they used to say that the certain school is the best performing. You can even see. Let me give you a very good example. In Riruta Satellite, it used to lead in Nairobi area. This is one thing that they do. The head teacher then, there is this place called what? I'll remember the place, past Gigiri. There is a place there where there is a council school, but all students are from rich people. What they did is that they saw that this head teacher, students from Riruta Satellite were performing well. The school was being graded as one of the most improved. Then the head teacher, the teachers from that place, I'm forgetting the name, but it is beyond Gigiri, talked to City Hall. The head teacher was transferred from Riruta to that school so that he makes that school be improved. Well, of course, the school improved, and that school had motivation. They had the motivation that at the end of the third term, they went to Lake Baringo. They went to Lake Baringo for boat rides. Parents just pay a lot of things and say that they are going to take teachers for an outing. The head teacher drowned in Lake Baringo. Nyari, the place is called Nyari. Nyari, yeah. The parents at Nyari organized for a head teacher from the slum Riruta Satellite Primary School was taken to Nyari, and you see there is a lot of motivation there, including the parents planning to, every end of the month, parents giving out money, which is called motivation to the teachers. And that is how it happens. That first of all, teachers are transferred from normal schools to a rich neighboring school like Nyar. Or alternatively, you'll find a school like Riruta or even Kawangware. Maybe I can talk of Kawangware Primary School. Kawangware Primary School is near Lavington. So you find a school like Kawangware Primary School performing well, then you'll find people, rich people from Lavington and Mudangari, taking their children there. Now, I think that is the most important thing in this topic I want now to say. You find that people from rich neighborhood take their children there. When they take their children there, they start misusing this thing called AGM or even SGM, Special General Meeting. It is in these meetings that they choose a chairman. If the chairman is not from a rich neighborhood, they choose a chairman from a poor neighborhood who is bribed. When this chairman is bribed, now things start coming in. A lot of contribution will start coming in. And these contributions will push out students from students from poor families. And then you'll find that there is a school in a poor neighborhood, but you'll find most of the students are from rich areas. That thing happens. And that is the genesis of this topic. That is when the illegal fees come in. And these illegal fees come in very many ways, such as teachers' motivation fee. You'll find that they will start even talking about tuition fee. And even before Kibaki became the president, there used to be something that was called admission fee. Can you believe it? In 2002, to join a city council school, you used to pay 10,000 shillings admission fee. 10,000 shillings. And there is nowhere where they would say, that was before Kibaki became the president, there's nowhere where they said the admission fee does this or that. No, they just keep it that way. Nowadays, head teachers have found a way of collecting money. Every November, they say that they're having an interview for people, students who want to join preschool and other classes. Nowadays, it's up to grade 6. It used to be standard 8. Now they'd say limited chances in grade 6, but then there is going to be an interview. That interview, people pay some money. If you ask me, these interviews are just formalities. And let me tell you one thing. If someone does an interview and fails in other jobs, then he's not fit for the job. But in schools, when you do an interview, joining interview, and you fail, they should not chase you away. Actually, they should take you, so that they say that we had this fellow joining us when he or she was nothing, and we have made sure that he or she has gotten over 300 marks in KCPE. But sincerely, the interviews are not, they are not even an assessment test. You see, assessment test is when you come, you want to join grade 4, they do the assessment and give an opinion that, yes, we will take you, but we will not take you at grade 4, we'll take you at grade 3. That is what the assessment is. Or they can say you are fit to go to the class that you want. But this assessment test or interview is usually what the head teachers used to line their pockets. That is what the money they used to line their pockets. This causes the teachers, other teachers, class teachers and subject teachers to start a tuition fee. And when the head teacher shows concern, he or she is told that he gets the interview or assessment money. He gets the interview or assessment money. So when you get that interview and assessment money, do we share with you? Now we have our own issue of whatever. Now you find that teachers say that paying for tuition is not mandatory, but you'll find that during normal classes, the teachers do the introduction. They do class introduction during normal classes. But when at the close, let's say at 4 p.m., those who did not pay for tuition are told to go home, and all the serious studies are done at that time. So if every student pays tuition fee, then they'll study normally, whatever. But when you find that some students pay, others don't pay, what usually happens is that those who don't pay, if there are many or if they are there, they will just be taught in summary. But the serious teaching will come during the so-called tuition time, which is between 4 and 6. I had talked about government delaying because the government is supposed to pay 50 in the first term, 50%, 30% in the second term, and 20% in the final term. Now, when the people delay, head teachers usually call an SGM, a special general meeting, whereby the head teacher would tell the parents that we are supposed to do this, we are supposed to do this, the government is delaying in the capitation. The parents decide to contribute a given amount, or they even decide to contribute Harambee style, where the one with 100 shillings can contribute, or one with 1,000 shillings can contribute. This money is not audited, this money is not done whatever. Later on, when the government brings in the capitation, the head teacher usually has found a way to loot in one way or another. So lastly is that President Kipchirchir should sit down and decide and look at for a way to solve this thing once and for all. We know the problem. And let me tell you, Mr. President, PR will not solve. You do PR and solve the problems later. Thank you.